Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's me, your life coach, Andrea Jackson, and I am just so glad that you're joining us today. We're going to get started in our group. We're going to have open discussion on this morning, saying how the tools have worked for us and what life change have we identified. So hold on a second. I'm going to start admitting people into the group. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sound a little stuffy this morning.
Yes, ma'am, but I'll be back.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, Miss
Good
Jackson.
morning. Good morning. Good morning. I see that we have a few of you on the line. I'm so glad to see that a few of us have not joined yet, but we're going to get right started. Today, we're going to have an open discussion. We've been talking about a lot of things and we've been trying to, move right into our life change. And I'm so excited about this, as I know you are too. But one thing I want to do is kind of like a review. We had, a moment of review not too long ago, actually, where we were like saying, what tools are we using? So I would like to talk today from a standpoint of, now that you've had some time to practice the tools and you use the tools, I want to see what fruit of change have you identified that's been producing in your life. What's some of your challenges? What's some of your complications? What's some of the things that maybe you're having some problems in identifying, or maybe some problems in moving forward into using your tools. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and start our check-in. I think Miss Kashara was our first caller on this morning. Miss Kashara, go ahead and share. Go ahead and check in. I'm sorry.
Good morning. Good morning. God bless you all.
Good morning.
Um, I'm really excited about group today.
Awesome.
Um, Kind of a gloomy day, but nevertheless, I had some real positive things that happened on yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm really feeling good about that. Again, just really excited about all that is happening, just overall in my life, uh, in the life of those that are connected to me, and just really, really excited and just can't wait to share and to hear what all that those that are on the call have to share as well. Remembering just uh, what the word says, iron sharpens iron. And
Absolutely.
I'm just excited about today. And that's it. Welcome back, all of you.
Awesome. Awesome. Happy Monday to you too. And it's so amazing. I love how, we get to see processes in people's life, because that's one thing about the group dynamic, is that we get to learn one from another. Like Sister Kashara say, iron sharpens iron, and we also get to see different processes, and different processes in people's lives gives us hope. It gives us hope. It was like maybe last week, 2 weeks ago, Sister Kashar was sharing, and, almost to tears, things that she was going through, blockages that seemed to have come into her life, and now the joy, you can hear it just exuberating on the line, and have so much good things that are happening. As we always say, life, life is going to be life, but we have to remember, we have to cope. We have to be able to cope and find some coping skills, some coping mechanisms to cope from one stage of life to the next, because all of them aren't going to be good stages. As we all know, they're not going to all be good. But one of the beautiful things about it is that we know that if I can cope through this, there's a greater day coming, because we have a hope. We have a hope, a great hope in Christ Jesus. So I thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad to hear your joy, Miss Kashara. We're gonna go to Miss Susu. Good morning, Miss Susu. How are you? Go ahead and check in.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all. Good morning to you, Miss Jackson.
Good
And
morning.
I'm having even though it's gloomy outside, but it's not gloomy in me. I feel joyous, and I'm
Yeah.
just expecting to continue to be sharpened. I love the classes. God bless you all.
Amen. Amen. Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Susu. Bianca, good morning. Go ahead, unmute your phone and check in with us this morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well. Um, Grateful to be on this line on today. Um, Taking it one day at a time.
Good, good.
Really taking that slogan, but using it as truly my guideline for my life. One day at a time. Yesterday's gone. It's gone. Whatever was going on yesterday, that was yesterday's problems.
Yes.
But today is a new day. I'm in anticipation,
Yes.
in expectation, and ready to celebrate. I should
Hey.
celebration. Yeah, celebration. Thank you.
Exactly. Reminds me of an old song that used to be sung. Celebrate good times. Come on. So I'm grateful for that. Sometimes our good times aren't always right now. And this is why, as believers, we're instructed to rejoice. And again, I say rejoice because good times may not always be present, but because of the hope that we have, there's greater times on the horizon. So I am so happy for everyone on this morning. And like I said earlier, what I'm going to do is basically have an open dialogue today. Today is the beginning of a new week. We've shared a lot in this last 4 weeks of groups. So I just want to kind of hear more a little bit from you guys today. Have we been putting in practice what we've been learning? Have we been putting in practice some of the skills, the techniques, the interventions, the things that we've been learning? Because lots of times we get a lot of information, but we don't know how to utilize it. And if we don't have this open dialogue to give us opportunity to kind of express that, or even to express how you've been using it, because you may have been using it, is not yielding an outcome, and you may find that maybe you've been using the tool at the wrong time, so it's not as effective. So we want to have some open dialogue to not only see how our affects how we've been using the tools, but where are you from 4 weeks ago to today? Let's kind of just do a check-in on that, from when we started the group to where we are today. How's our mindset? How's our outlook? How's our emotional state? How are we doing in overcoming and conquering and coping with life situations? Where are we doing? Has our mental health changed any? Has our emotional health changed any? Has my perception changed any as a result of today's group? And be watchful what you say. I may ask you to write a review. But anyway, we want to kind of open the doors and share at this point. So please go right ahead.
Amen. I'll jump right on in there. Um, must say that the group has truly been a blessing to me and for me. Some of the tools that have been discussed thus far is tools that I use. I use the grounding. I could use that for a perfect example of just this weekend. Um, of being out, you know, place I'd never been before. I already had my pre cautions that, I was thinking about before I even went, But after getting there, I've learned how to sit and kind of ground myself in certain areas, knowing where I am, knowing that this is what it is and it's not what maybe I might have been thinking it was going to be.
Mhm.
Perfect example, I remember going camping when I was younger. And
Okay.
when I was going camping when I was younger, I remember that the air quality was very thin. That's what they told me. It was very thin. So it was something about the breathing of the air that would really get me when I went camping that time. So I remember as I was preparing to go camping this time around, it was like, ooh wee, I wonder if that's gonna be a problem. And how far are we going up? Oh, what? 5,000 feet. I thought they said 500 feet, so I was rejoicing with 500. But then they said 5,000. I was like, oh shoot, 5,000. But then, God would always give you some calmness. Well, 5,000, at least it ain't 7,000, 10,000 feet in the air. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so that was something I used, grounding, knowing, looking around, seeing where I am. If I need to use some of those things underneath grounding, if I need to count certain things to kind of bring myself back, whatever it was that I needed to use, I find out that it do work. Also, one day at a time. I spoke on that, taking things one day at a time. But me, I'm always in the future.
Okay.
That's me. I do a lot of future tripping. I'm always over there somewhere. But learning to take it one day at a time. That came through this group. One day at a time. I'm here. This is where I am today.
Right.
Yesterday had his own problems. Guess what? And tomorrow gonna have their own problems. So why worry about tomorrow? Yesterday we don't dealt with the problems or whatever. If they didn't get all dealt with, oh well. Today is a new day. It's a new day. So we gonna deal with whatever comes today.
Today.
Because if I continue to deal with what happened last year, last week, yesterday, and then I'm way over there wondering what's gonna happen next week and next month and next year, then I have no strength to really deal with what's going on right here. So
Right.
that would just be a no-win situation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that also, and just being able to learn how to cope, because sometimes I get a little anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But all these different things that I'm saying was different things that I was challenged with this weekend.
Okay.
Everything that I stating, something I'm challenged with this weekend. You know, things happen. Anxiety levels start rising up.
Mm-hmm.
But also that rubber band, come on, slap back yourself into reality, sweetie. You
Yeah.
know, get it together. Get some breathing exercises going on. Whatever it takes for me to be able to cope through that situation. Because again, if I'm not coping through the situation, how am I going to handle the situation? I'm
Right.
not going to be able to handle it,
Right.
you know? And the thing about it, I'm dependent on me to handle it, but there's others that's dependent on me also to
Right.
handle it too.
Yes.
So, and learning to put the oxygen mask on my face first.
Me first.
Put it on me first. Because again, I'm one, I'll give, I'll do, I'll go here, I'll do whatever it is for everybody else. At the end of the day, I'm burnt out, tired, laying in my bed, mouth dry, whatever,
Yeah.
because I didn't take care of Bianca first and foremost. So those are the things. Learning to take care of Bianca first. And then if I take care of me, then I may be able to help somebody else.
Yes.
I'm not going to remove God hand from God helping them. I'm not going to become the Messiah. I'm not going to enable. I'm not going to do none of that because I've done all of that. So I can speak on all three of those things. But
Right.
I'm going to be able, maybe I can help you. And if I can't help you, then you know what? It's not going to bring no burden on me because I can't do it.
I just can't.
I can't do it. And with this, I could go on and on and on, but I'm gonna leave room for somebody else. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Bianca, because I want us to deal interchangeably. But that's an awesome kickoff. Like you're saying, the one day at a time, the grounding exercises, and how you had to put them in play this weekend, dealing with things of the unknown, going to unknown places, unknown altitudes, and you had a way to cope so that your weekend isn't destroyed, because any one thing could possibly have destroyed a weekend if we don't know how to cope through it. It can destroy a life, So wow, that's awesome. Thank you. And I want to ask you guys, because I want us to be able to dialogue. Tell me just one of the lessons, one of the techniques, or one of the things that you have found most helpful in these groups thus far. Go ahead, unmute your phone and share what's that thing that you are dealing with that you found an answer in this technique or in this group. What was it for you? Unmute your phone and share.
Good morning, Susu. Like I
Good
say,
morning.
there were several, but you said one thing.
For now.
One
For
thing,
now.
one thing that stands out most is that self-care
Okay.
for myself, you know, doing for me, taking care of me. And also as well as with the that enabling. And I found out with that too is how I speak, how I present myself to others and speaking to them, my tone, trying to get some, to be better in their behaviors and things, not to do this or to do this. So I'm learning, to expect, but not to expect it for them to do it my way or at my time. I'm pushing
Okay.
back. I just share the nuggets, in a decent tone and and let it go, kind of let it go, but still not expecting to do it in my time. And I find that too, they come back to me at times with a better tone, a better attitude at times. So I kind of find that, it enabling to push back. And it's kind of working. Like I be more silent than more boisterous, And
Okay.
like I say, with that self care, I find that feel like I can breathe more, better. I can inhale and not be, like your heart be kind of hurting or something like that. But you can really enjoy your inhale and exhale. You know,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I mean to say. Really enjoy it instead of taking those short breaths. That's because you got to live, you got to breathe, though. But you
Right.
can enjoy your inhale and your exhale. You're living, you're taking care of you, your mindset.
Yes.
And that's by leaving other things that you cannot handle. You know, you give it to God and let it go. And I find peace in that too.
Yes.
Just let go. Nothing else you can do about it. You take care of you physically and mentally and emotionally, and I find I feel better. And I even notice I lost some weight now that I'm trying to lose some, but it's all good. Taking care of my health, getting back in the space, knowing of me, knowing about me. That's
Yeah.
self-care. That's self-care. I like that. And that's what I want to share today. I feel good. Even with everything going
Awesome.
on, everything twirling around, the turbulence, and stuff, I still feel good. Nothing I can do. That's what I'm sharing.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Miss Susu, if you can share with me, how long have you experienced enabling?
I want to say all my life, I guess. You know, and I guess it look back. And even some of my kids will say it's one certain one. You've always been there. I've been there for all, but then it's one certain one. They say, and that's true because I'm trying to, like to say, kick the eaglet out the nest and let them fly. I guess I didn't do that. Not guess I didn't do that. Let them feel and so it's been most of the lifetime. So it's taken time the process, but I find myself making those steps. And I feel good about that. When I can
Yeah.
say no, I feel good about it. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. And one thing about it is with all of whatever our unhealthy behaviors are, when we start getting a grasp on it, when we start being in control of it, we begin to identify a freedom. A
yeah,
freedom. Yes. We begin to identify a freedom because those unwanted, unhealthy, compulsive behaviors, they're unhealthy to us. They're draining. It's just like a drug addiction. It's like a state of alcoholism. And what I mean by that is because of the routine nature of it in our brain. And so it's like I'm now a slave to the routine of my brain. But guess what? We can find freedom. We can find freedom in life. We just have to be shown the way. Thank you so much, Ms. Susu. So,
Yeah, excuse me, I was gonna say that's the word, it's addiction. That's my addiction. I had identified, I got a break, you know. And as with every other addiction, it's a hard one, but it can be done. And that's my intention.
Yes. And you're doing awesome. You're doing amazing, Miss Susu. I love that. I love that because it's hard to change behavior, especially behaviors we've been doing practically all our life that we felt was a part of us, but really it was a part of an insanity in us. But it became so normalized that we didn't even identify it. So go ahead, Miss Kashara. I see you got your mic open. Go ahead, sweetheart, and share. She just waiting. She waiting. I love it.
Yeah. So I just, enjoyed everything that I've heard. And I just kind of want to piggyback off of Miss Susu and Miss Bianca on self-care. I've always been kind of a glam girl, meaning I've always took time to take care of myself, do my hair, do my nails. And I come to a point where I allow things to sit me down, to stop me. And you are as old as you are, meaning you begin to feel the weight on your body, on your physical body and everything. And I've made up my mind this weekend. I had some challenges to come up against me, some of the problems that I was facing. And with those problems, I began to think. I said, every woman needs to be a woman.
Yeah.
You can be a woman in some entities doing things you do. Then now it's time for you to stand up and be a woman. Yes. I don't know if we could share personal things.
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Okay. So weekend, right into the weekend, I was with, the individual called me and asked me, if they could use my Cash App to receive money for doing some work. And, I was like, well, okay, I can do that. So I did that and got the money. Of course, the individual called me right away. I need the money now. Okay. So, but I got some other things going on.
Right.
So I can't move when you say move. Right. And then when I called, they had a problem with it because they wanted their money right then. Well, when I'm done doing what I need to do, then I can,
right,
open myself up for you to come and get your money.
Right.
Well, I guess they fell asleep and they waited till nighttime. Well, you're not supposed to be here anyway. So I'm not going to allow you to come. See, there was a time I would have been like, oh, well, I need it. Okay, well, I tell you what, you come and get it. And since you didn't come and get it, now you have to wait for it. Okay. You have to wait. There was a time I would have just said, forget everything and just went and did it, And so when the time came again, they got the money. And when the time came for the next 2 days, it was a lot of money. But it was, enough where you could do what you needed to do, And so I told the individual, I said, well, and then they called me and said, I'm so hungry. Can you bring me some food? What? Wait a minute. I just gave you money. Right. So you didn't, you know what they told me? And this light came on. They said, oh, that wasn't for food. That was for my habit. Well, guess what? You just ate your habit. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I meant that. And the thing of it is, I realize now the enemy come and bring challenges to wear us out, to make us feel depleted, to make us feel like we are nothing, to make us feel like we're bound by it and we got to do it. Well, the devil is a liar. I'm not going to do it. Guess what? You got enough mouth to talk crazy to me. Then guess what? You got enough mouth to handle your own business. I'm doing enough and enough is enough. And I realized within myself that the enemy was using that individual to tear me down, to deplete me. And I'm not going to allow the enemy to do that anymore. You got to stand on your own. You got to do on your own now.
Yes.
That light came on when they said, I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. Can you bring me some food?
Wow.
Well, didn't I just give you your money? Well, that wasn't for no food. That was for my habit. Well, guess what? You just ate your habit.
I love it.
And from that point, I realized, yes, I still love you, and I'm gonna always love you, but I have to stop enabling you. If I don't stop enabling you, it's going to continue and continue and continue. And the enemy going to deplete me and weigh down on me and tear me down and beat me up and drag me. And I'm not going to be no good for the situation that God called me to, nor for the situation that I have to take care of. So at some point, you got to say, enough is enough. Not today, devil, not no more. It's over. It's over. For the last of the Geechee is over. Woo. So once you take your rightful place and your rightful stand, mean what you say and say what you mean, you ain't got to worry about it. No, that doesn't cut out the fact that I love you. I love you. Right. And I'm going to always love you. But what I will not allow you to do is allow the enemy to tear me down with your own things. That's yours. You got to own it. You got to take it, just like I got to own mine.
Yes.
My responsibility is where God put me and put the responsibility in me to deal with, and that's what I got to deal with. You cut that off a long time ago. So you got to deal with you, and I got to deal with what I got to deal with. And now, as far as other things, as far as me getting away, I'm working on that because I know I need it, but when I do, let me tell you, I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to do my nails. I'm going to be flawless in my makeup, and I'm going alone.
Come on now.
And I'm going to look in the mirror at myself. I don't know if you guys heard the song with Mary J. Blige, but she said, I look in the mirror and say, good morning, gorgeous. And it's going to be for me, not for nobody else. And that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, good morning, gorgeous.
Wow. Oh my God. That was amazing. You broke me in a hot flash. That was amazing.
I was breaking me in one too.
I wish I could give you a gold star, sweetheart. I salute you. That is amazing. That's amazing. When we can identify that this is insanity, what I'm doing. It's insanity. And I love how you identified the enemy is using this person to deplete me. Remember, the enemy is always using all sorts of devices to deplete, to kill, steal, and destroy the saints of God, because each of us is a light to the world. Each of us, because we have in these earthen vessels, we have a treasure inside of us that gives light and illumination through our love, through our joy, through our long suffering, through our salvation, through the honor and integrity that we walk in, that identifies the Spirit of God within us. And so many times with enabling and any other unwanted, unhealthy, compulsive behaviors, it drains us from that. It drains us from that. I didn't even bring a towel today. It drains us from that. And when we are depleted, then it's hard to walk in love. When we're depleted, it's hard to feel our joy, let alone spread it to another person. When we are depleted and drained, when we are a slave to these routine behaviors, we find ourselves in a place where the fruits of the Spirit cannot even be identified in us, because we have nothing to give, because we've been a slave to our routine behaviors. That is so amazing. I love to hear the freedom that's on the line today. I love to hear the freedom. Bianca talked about how she uses the one day at a time. I refuse to overwhelm myself. I refuse. There may be something that's inside of me, my makeup, my something I received from my mother's mother, my father's father, genetically may have received, but guess what? I'm taking control of it. Maybe it's a learned behavior that I've learned, but guess what? I'm stopping it now and I'm taking control. Maybe it's a developed behavior that I've developed by doing things routinely. Whatever it is, I'm going to stop the madness and I'm going to take control. So I'm not going to be overwhelmed. I'm not going to be anxious. I like how Miss Susu talked about how she stands in that place where she's seeing the fruit of taking care of herself. Self-care was her lesson. And when we've talked offline, that's one of the lessons that she always shared. Self-care, self-care. We never know what a person needs. We just know that we have a need. We never know what's going to move us into our next. But when we find it, it's like we're marching in line. We're on our way. We're on that King's Highway, and I'm not coming off. It may get hard sometimes, but guess what? It's these moments that show the freedom. I received my freedom from this road that I'm on. And so now Miss Susu is saying, hey, I feel good. I feel a lot better. I'm moving. And even the respect that she's getting as a result of it. Oh, this is amazing. Like she said, I say what I gotta say, and I'm doing things different. And she's noticing that what she's receiving now is different. I love that. And man, Miss Kashara, she took that firm stand. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna break the cycle. I'm gonna break the cycle. And I love it. Look, I'm gonna do what I can when I can, because we have things in life. Just because you had a crisis doesn't mean that my life was available and sitting and waiting for your crisis. You have to wait till I can fit that in. And she took that, and she took her stance, and she took care of herself. She took care of her family. She put things, my crisis is not your crisis. I had to learn that some years ago. Your drama is not my drama. Your crisis is not my crisis. If I can help, if I can stop what I'm doing because you are in a crisis, then I'll do that. But I have to choose to do that. I can't just drop my baby. I'm feeding my baby. I'm taking care of my spouse. So I got a migraine and I'm taking care of my migraine. I can't just stop and just allow that on a continual basis. That's the compulsive part of it. But she gathered herself and she said, I'm going to help you, but this is how I can help you. I can't give 100% today. This is how I can help you. And then when it got to the, can you bring me food? Well, wait a minute. I just forwarded you. That wasn't for that. That was for my habit. Well, you just ate your habit. I loved it. I love it. Like she said, other times she would have jumped in her car, packed her children up, woke them up in the middle, packed them up, and got on that dangerous highway to satisfy someone else's needs. But she's learning self-care. I love it. You guys are amazing. Someone just joined in with us on the line. We're just kind of doing some reviews on what lesson, just one for now, what lesson best helped you in overcoming your unwanted behaviors. If you like, you can go ahead and share at this time. Okay, well, we'll go back. Let's see. What's another one? I've heard your number ones, and you guys have said them so emphatically. What's another tool that you're putting in place as a result of the lessons that you've learned on the line? Anyone, please go ahead and share. Well, I've heard grounding. What about drift? I think we had that lesson. Things that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because if we have it, it's coming. Things that we need to avoid and things that we need to do, and identify how we're doing them. If we haven't, have we had the drift conversation on this line? Anyone remembers drift?
No, I don't think we had that one.
Okay. So, okay, we're not going to talk about that right now then. But I know that we've talked about grounding, and it sounds like you guys are doing that. We've talked about let's see, so many other things. Identifying our triggers. Go ahead.
Red flags, green flags.
Ooh, that's a good one. And I like how you shared that, Bianca, you know, how you proactively, you knew you were going to an uncommon place, and how you identified, you know, projectively, there may be some red flags. And you kind of start preparing yourself for that. So when the red flags did come, like you said, you put grounding in place. You remove the anxiety, you remove the being overwhelmed. And I love that. Anyone else have looked at red flags, have practiced your red flags and green flags lesson? Identifying those red flags, those dangerous things, and even sometimes in our mindset and our thinking. Has anyone been challenged with unhealthy thinking, and what did you do to turn it around? Any challenges of unhealthy thinking? Okay, any challenges with breaking the cycle? You know, I hear all of you guys have been doing excellent on breaking the cycle. What have been some of your challenges in breaking the cycle? What's some of the things, you know, quite normally, you know, your routine? It's a natural routine to do whatever the compulsive behavior is. So that can be a problem in breaking the cycle. Just your urge to continue in this way, that in itself can be a problem. But maybe what are some other problems that you've had? Have you had any resistance from close friends and family, you know, as a result of your changing? You know, have you had any problems with identifying new things to do in order to break cycles? Any problems in that area? Any challenges rather?
My challenge is on eating up everything, you know. Sometimes when I got a lot of things on my mind, sometimes I get to the refrigerator. But I'm trying to eat more. If I eat, when I eat, I try to eat things that are more healthful for myself, avoiding some of the sweets that I really, really like, you know, or the ones that I don't really like. Avoid them. And then you know, eat the others in moderation, you know. But my thing is sweet, but basically it's food, food. I love food. And I'm just trying to break that habit of just eating. Because when I put my mind on certain things, you know, that one makes me want to eat. So I try to keep my mind away from things, you know, that's gonna bog me down, you know. So that's the thing. I just like I say, even with TV, I don't watch that much of that anything anyway. But if I get involved with some hair or something like that, I want to stay there. I'm gonna be there until I finish, or you know, until I get too tired. So that'll keep me. I could even have a cup of tea there. I won't touch it, you know. So as long as I'm putting myself doing something actively, you know, that'll
Okay.
kind of keep me away from the food. So, and
Okay.
then when I do get up, that's when I, you know, really rub out. But it's you know, monitoring it, you know, what I eat and when I eat and how I eat. Trying not to eat after a certain hour at night, you know, and
Okay.
laying on it. So I'm practicing that, trying to do that. Yeah, that habit.
That's excellent, Miss Susu. That's excellent. And sounds like that's amazing because you've identified that this is a culprit. It's not just what happens. This is a culprit. You've identified that because I suffer with that same thing, that emotional eating. When things go bad or when things go good, I don't go grab the pipe. I go grab food.
Right.
I don't get a bottle, I go grab food. You know, it's like a comfort. And I had to realize because my old mind messages used to say, hey, well, I don't do drugs no more. I don't drink no more. I don't smoke cigarettes no more. I eat. And I looked at that was like a banner that I created to accept the behavior. And I had to come to myself and realize hey, wait a minute, this is really unhealthy as well, you know.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing. Like you say, you identified it as a culprit, because when we eat, they're like, oh, we're not hurting nobody, we're not even hurting ourselves, you know, I'm just eating, you know. But we see people that's suffering with obesity, you know, with risk of heart disease and other health situations.
Diabetes. Mhm.
Yeah, diabetes. And so we want to be mindful that we don't overdo any of those things. I love that. So when you were talking about overeating, I like how you put certain things in place, or not overeating, excuse me, but that emotional eating. You're putting certain things in place now, whereas you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to eat after a certain time. Or even the harm reduction. I love that, because some things we can't just quit. You know, some things we have to put harm reduction in. So like she said, if it's a sweet that maybe I don't really care for, you know, hey, would you like cinnamon roll? Hey, would you like a piece of cake? Would you like, if it's something that she's not really crazy about, she uses her self-control in that and say, no, because I have a plan. I'm not going to eat things that I'm not crazy about. But if it's something that I really love, then I may indulge in that. And I'm going to make sure I indulge in it before a certain time. So she's put some making that plan. Remember, we talked about making a plan. You know, this is creating a schedule, not just for our time, but she's created a schedule surrounding her emotional eating to bring some harm reduction and some healthiness until she can go ahead and separate herself from that behavior. So that is awesome. You go, Miss Susu. I'm gonna have to take on some of your strategy as well. I love that. Anyone else? Anyone else? Come on. What's some of your challenges in this recovery process? There has to be challenges, because if we could just stop doing what we were doing without any challenges, then we would have stopped it long time ago. But now that we're intentionally putting some things in place to stop that behavior, there's going to be a resistance. There's going to be a resistance. You know, when you're saying, I'm about to stop the madness, you know, things happen. And sometimes it happens overnight. Sometimes it happens, it takes a lifetime for change. I tell people sometimes I've experienced both sides of the gamut. You know, I remember I used to smoke Newport 100s back in the day. And I remember I went to a church and God delivered me from smoking cigarettes. And I just didn't smoke anymore. But then some years later, when I picked them back up, I went through a situation 5 years after that where I not only picked up cigarettes, I picked up drugs, I picked up alcohol. I picked it up. My whole life went through a rehab, a relapse of unhealthy behaviors and addictions. And when it was time for my deliverance to come out, in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, I'll just go to the pastor and I'll have him lay hands on me and we're going to get rid of this. But it didn't go like that. I had to actually strive. I had to put in a regimen. I had to learn what to do to stop it, what to cope, how to cope without picking up a cigarette and smoking the cigarette. So, but it doesn't mean I didn't have the cravings. I didn't have the fight within myself. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You know, it don't mean that that never occurred. So let's identify what are some of the challenges, maybe the cravings, maybe the urges to continue. Maybe sometimes you forget to put in practice the technique that you've learned. Maybe, you know what, Miss Jackson, I need a workbook so I can be reminded of this stuff that you're teaching us so that I can put it in practice when my mind is not thinking, when I can't think, because stress makes you lose. That's why they have those stress B tabs, because stress makes you not be able, it affects your memory. It affects your memory. So when you take the stress B tabs, you see, when you take those, what happens is it helps you in your memory. It gives you the calm to recall what it is that you need to recall. So you may need some help, you know, in recalling the information. So tell me, what's been some of your challenges?
This is Bianca. Oh,
We can hear you, Bianca.
Oh, this is Bianca. One of the things that I've dealt with, and sometimes it tries to come back, is worry.
Okay.
Yeah, I am a worrier. Um, but I had this situation. I would like to say again, going through this class has really been and is a blessing when we get the tools to learn how to fight these different addictions.
Yeah.
And so worry has always been a thing of mine. I don't know where it originated from. Have no idea where it came from because if the truth be told, when I was out in the world, I didn't have a worry in the world. All these W's too. I didn't the world, you know, when I was in the world doing whatever I thought I was big enough and bad enough to do.
Yeah.
But it seemed like after, you know, those things was that of a past. Then it seemed like worry this became a part of me.
Okay.
You know, and I'm just saying that now. So that's just an open thing that I'm just getting right now. But it became a thing of me of um over here. And so, you know, worry about the littlest things and, you know, which caused a lot of things to happen with me mentally and physically, you know, because of the stress, the anxiety or whatever. But as going through these classes, really taking the tools and using them, because sometimes I felt like hey, I'm here. I gotten through it. I, you know, crossed over that. I'm good. I'm good. But not really knowing how to combat it.
Okay.
Let it take its perfect work. And after it gets through, I'll be all right. You know. But yeah, but now, you know, with worrying, when I feel like that thing is about to hit, I definitely will go and get into my toolbox and start pulling some out and different things that come that I know in the past could bring worry.
Okay.
Okay. So there were things that could possibly bring worry that I know that without the tools that would really take me under. Knowing that when I use those tools or I prepare for battle in a time of peace.
Yes.
You know, I feel good. I feel good. Perfect example. I know that the tools work. I know that they work. But when other people can see and know that what you've been through also, and they can see how you handle that situation, and they say, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Perfect example. You know, going through some health issues. Um, before I get a diagnosis, you can switch it around if I said it wrong. I already got a prognosis.
Okay.
I already prognosis. I think that's the way it goes. But anyway, I already did the finalization of it all. They tell me one thing, I already took it farther than what they done said, and I nailed it to the wall and all kinds of stuff. So here I am putting undue pressure on me when we ain't really got the fullness of the story yet.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't even got there yet, but I did all the work. I did all the work. I got the PhD behind my name. And if not, I got Dr. Google that can help me get what I need to know, the information I need to know. I would advise anybody, don't go on Google. Don't go on Google. They give you the worst stuff first.
Oh, Lord. I got a rash. That means you got cancer in your ear.
Yeah. Yes, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. But anyway, I noticed like something that came up, and so as I was sharing with my family and different things like that, they was looking for me to react in a particular way.
Right.
They was looking for the worriness to come on. They was looking for me to be, oh my goodness, oh gosh, and maybe share a few tears on FaceTime. I don't know,
Right.
but living one day at a time, living that one day at a time. You know what? That's what they said. But we're gonna move forward into this, and we just gonna move forward. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna keep doing it
Yes.
because I could not. With the information that I got, I could not went on the camping trip. I could have been in my house crying. I could have been in my bed with the cover over my head. All kinds of stuff
Yes.
that I could have done. Is it big, big, big? No, it's not a big, big, big thing. But Alice would blow it up to be big, big, bigger than what it really is.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be one of the things. But I'm just grateful for the tools. I'm grateful for the class. I'm grateful for not just getting the tools, but trying to use the tools to see if they really work. To see if it really do work. And I have found out that the tools do work.
They
I'm
do.
not gonna worry about how it's something that I may not be able to change.
Yeah.
You know, like the Serenity Prayer.
Yes.
I got that on my bedroom door.
Mm.
Got it on my bedroom door. You know, and that's what I try to live by also. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And past times, Miss Bianca have shared with us, how worry, has definitely been a stopper for her. It's been a game changer, but she's changing the game. She's using her tools and she's making it work. She's making it work one day at a time. I'm coping with situations one day at a time, sometimes one moment at a time, but I'm going to live my best life. And I'm not going to allow anything to deplete me. I'm not going to allow it to stop me. And I'm not going to allow it to halt me. And I love how she says, one of the signs of recovery that's so motivating and building for her is when other people see the change. Because not only do you see the change, but now others see the change. When her family, when she received the bad news, and her family was waiting for the depression, they was waiting for the hibernation, they were waiting for her to pull the covers over her head and cry 3 days. But guess what? Because of the tools, her helping herself, investing in herself, here it is now. She's come to a place where she can accept bad news, feel it, even if you need to mourn over it, but she can stay connected. She can stay connected in safety. She can stay connected with the world. She can stay connected. She was still able to go on her camping trip. She was still able to enjoy her family. She was still able to do these things as a result of the tools that she's practicing. And I say practicing because guess what? When we practice the tools in the little things, then guess what? When these big things come, guess what? We're well practiced. We're well versed in what we're trying to do now. I know what to do. My automatic response at some point becomes my coping mechanism, my strategy for grounding, my very stance in identifying what's good and what's bad and what I'm going to do about it. So I love that. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Come on, talk to me. What are some of the tools? What was the best lesson for you here on this line? And also, what are some of your signs of recovery? I like how Miss Bianca said her family's response. They were amazed that she wasn't responding in worry. She wasn't responding in defeat. I like how Miss Susu said, her response was now how people are responding to her. Not so she's changed her stance, her response, and now she's receiving the respect and she was receiving the response. And I love how Miss Kashara talked about she set her boundaries. She stayed in healthy boundaries for her and her family. This isn't an emergency. You're not going to die. You just want me to do something that you didn't do for yourself, even when you had the means, and bold enough to say, well, that wasn't for that. Okay, well, that was your plan. Now this is mine. And was able to stay within the healthy boundaries. I am loving this. So please share with me, what was your best lesson? What's the tool that you want to talk about today? And what are some of the challenges that you're experiencing? What are some of the signs of you getting better, your recovery? Just any of that. Open your phone and just share with us today. Well, all right, all right. I guess we're all shared out. No, go ahead, Miss Kashara.
Amen. Oh, I'm just so excited. Just about the classes and how God moves with us,
Yes.
on us, and through us when
And for us.
when we desire to do
Yes.
better. And I tell you, one of my best subjects here was regarding anger and letting go.
Ooh.
And letting go. Seem like my things are so hands-on, but you know how you say something repetitively, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that. But some way you allow the enemy to swindle his way in to do it. Well, I'm so grateful to just letting go.
Yes.
So it comes a point in our life we have to let go.
Yes.
And that means every situation, not just the hands-on things, but the things that are around us, the things that we see nudging at us. Yes. We have to just say, you know what, that's it. No means no. And every time my struggle was, I continue to allow people in. And when I allow people in that say they've changed, only to find out they really haven't. And what I've realized, everything we go through is just about everything we go through is spiritual. Yes. Especially because of who we are and whose we are. Yes. It's spiritual. And holding on to things when God wants us to let them go because of our pity, because how we feel, because we think we're not God. Yeah. Some stuff we just got to turn over to God and say, you know what? That's it. God got this, because he can handle it much better than we can. That's right. And by us trying to take on the weight of the world, it puts us back. It throws us back to make us understand or feel like we can't go another further. But when I say, we just got to let go. Yeah. We just got to let go. And again, that doesn't mean some situations, every situation. Right. When you see the change is not there, stop allowing it to overtake you, because the enemy is sitting back laughing, saying, got him again, got him, coach. And all in all, here we go. Now we're feeling down and out and like we're worn out. But I realize the enemy come to wear us out. He come to wear us out. Yes. And if he can use any situation to wear us out, he will. Now, there was a time I would have got so angry at a situation that occurred just yesterday. That occurred, and I didn't get angry. Wow. And it goes back to another situation. Mean what you say and say what you mean. And then when the enemy see that you ain't playing that game no more, then they wanna change the whole perception. But no, I see you for who you are and for what you represent. When the enemy know that you are called by God, he know that your purpose is the plans that God have for you, then he want to tear it down. And he'll use anybody, especially those that you feel that you can trust. that feel that, oh, they're helping. But every time it look like they're helping, that's just a loophole to get in.
Yes.
To realize that what you're doing, I've already done it.
Right. Right.
So God will help us. He's a present help in a time of trouble. When you feel you can't do it, guess what? I realize I don't just need help from man. I begin to take my time and do things on my own and allow God to take me to that level where, guess what? Me and God can do it together.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to get in a hurry where I can be tired and worn out, but I'm going to take my time and I'm going to put God first. I'm going to stop. I'm going to read. I'm going to stop. I'm going to pray and I'm going to keep going. And God going to give me the strength and the energy that I need. I will not allow the enemy anymore. Yeah. I'm just so on that. I've had enough. And it's not that I'm mean. And remember, I said, I always feel like people say, oh, you mean. I'm not mean. I'm firm. And the enemy don't want to be told no. The enemy don't want to be showed up. The enemy don't want the covers pulled off of them. But when you make up in your mind, for God I live, for God I die, sink or swim, I'm going all the way with God in front of me, leading me and guiding me. He's going to help me through my situations. So when we look for help from man, God say, look for help from me. Yes. Put your trust in no man. And we got to understand that it is God that leads us to where we are and where we need to go, where we need to be. And without him, we can do nothing. Anyway, so don't rely on man, because man will tell you anything. They'll do anything. But when you put your foot down and say, that's it. Yes. I got to lean on God. I got to depend on him. And you'll find that things that you thought you needed somebody to help you with. And you look around and be like, wow, it's already done. It's already done. So I'm so grateful that I didn't have to get angry. Yeah. I kept a smile on my face. And I didn't feel nothing after the fact. Wow. And that's a plus for me. Yeah. Because usually I'll rear up because, you know, with a firm tongue, sometimes we have to use a firm tongue, but we still got to use kind words. Yes, yes. You know, mean what you say what you mean, but you got to do it in love and simplicity. You can't overdo it or overthink it or over speak it, because then it looks like, wow, you just like I am. But we got to show a difference. We got to show the love of God. Yeah. We gotta display that love in every decision that we make. Yes. And by doing that, God already have the victory and the enemy have lost the battle. Yes. Woo. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Kashara. I love that share. You know, and I love how she talked about even after she stood in her firmness, accepting that me being firm is okay, despite what people say when they can't get their way. She said she stood on her boundary. This is as far as I'm going with this. I'm not going to be persuaded to do any more or any less. And at the same time, like she said, when it was done and over, usually she'd fixate on it for hours. But like she said, she didn't. She was free. And that was definitely a great sign of recovery, that she's walking in healthiness. She's walking in freedom. And this is a sign that she's breaking the cycle and breaking the chains of those routines that had us so bound. They're addictive, they're compulsive. And just because we're not fiending for it, that, you know, when we think of the word addiction, we think of, you know, a person that's maybe fiending for something, you know, oh, they're fiending for it. But sometimes that's not always the case. It's that we find ourselves experiencing the withdrawal, but sometimes we don't know what the withdrawal is. When you stop enabling, when you stop emotionally eating, when you stop over worrying, there's a part of you that's like, hey, wait a minute, let's do this. This is what we've been doing for years. What's stopping our feeling of being overwhelmed? What's stopping this? And the brain the brain's like, I don't know what to do right now, because usually this is the cycle. But now she's breaking the cycle. He's destroying that cycle by stopping it.
And now you've changed some behaviors and some ways that you think. And now the cycle is resisting. And that's where the challenge is birthed. That's where the challenge comes forth, because the cycle wants to continue, but your coping mechanisms, things that you're learning as a result of this line, you're putting these things in place and it's not going anymore. So sometimes you'll feel the challenges, but guess what? The challenges don't last always. The challenges don't last always. And you'll see the fruit of you breaking the cycle. Like Kashara said, I wasn't even moved by it afterwards. Isn't that amazing? I didn't even think about it. I wasn't fixated about it. I was so in acceptance that I am going to stop the enemy from depleting me, from destroying me, from taking from me, that I'm not even fixated about my decision. You know, like we talk about sometimes telling the truth or walking in integrity is the right thing to do, but it may not always feel right. It may not always feel right. But guess what? When we're changing behaviors, that's the same thing. It may not always feel right to do, but I know it's necessary for me. So that is amazing, guys. Anyone else? Anyone else? Please unmute your phone and share. Well, all right, all right. I'm going to read to you our last little thought for the day, and if you have any thoughts about it, please, 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 we have time. You can unmute your phone and share. So today we're going to talk about the title. We're going to think about the title is "Mental Arguments Are Bad Thinking." So we're going to talk about serenity, something that you guys all shared today, that you received a serenity, you received a peace, you received a freedom as a result of changing your life. It may be hard initially. It may seem a little troublesome initially, but if we continue in our life change using the tools that's been provided to us so that we can move forward, then guess what? We'll find that peace. So again and again, we hear that bad thinking and these compulsive behaviors, unwanted behaviors are linked together. Bad thinking is any line of thought that tends to be destructive. Mental arguments are in the class because they destroy peace of mind and self-control. We can avoid them by learning acceptance and maintaining serenity at all costs. Sometimes we engage in mental arguments with those who seem to have defeated us or put us down. This only gives more life to the hurt we have been feeling. In effect, we cooperate in hurting ourselves repeatedly. Even the satisfaction of letting ourselves win the mental argument doesn't really settle the matter. We can maintain our serenity in all situations by accepting people as they are. You guys shared that today. You guys are amazing. Accepting people as they are. We are not responsible for changing their opinions. We must also accept and dismiss past mistakes, past failures, no matter whose fault it was. We owe it to ourselves not to destroy another moment's happiness with futile mental arguments that serve no good purpose in our lives. Once we dismiss mental arguments, we can give our time and attention to those things that really matter. So today, I will not waste a single second of any kind on a mental argument. Anything another person said or did is forgiven and forgotten. I'm letting it go. And it has no power to hurt me a second time. Woo! Any comments on that before we dismiss? Well, all right, guys. All right, all right. Today was amazing. I've heard so much peace. I've heard so much freedom. I've heard so much serenity. And our last thought of the day just brought it home and linked us into where we're going to be. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep moving forward. There's so much life to live. There's so much greatness to achieve. There's so much to learn about ourselves. And now that we're getting rid of some of those unwanted behaviors, guess what? We can now move forward and live free. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. So enjoy your day. Remember to live free. Don't let those compulsive, routine, unwanted, unhealthy behaviors eat up at your life. And don't you ever let anyone bring you back into a place where you're wasting your moments. You're wasting your beautiful, these precious moments of life. Don't let it happen in your head. Don't let it happen in your life, because you're living free today. God bless each and every one of you. Have a blessed and prosperous day. We're now closed, and I'll see you back on tomorrow. God bless you all.